my name is Jovan. I practice divination and healing arts, and this is my channel, Mystic Starseed Transmissions. And in the spirit of Holosmus, I thought I would dress the part. So today I would like to talk about the individual and the collective energies that are happening right now on the planet as we approach the full moon on Halloween, which is tomorrow, October 31st, 2020. And in this video, I am going to focus on the Taurus full moon, the conjunction in the second house with Uranus retrograde, the full moon, and Black Moon Lilith. And then last but definitely not least, I'm going to be talking about Black Moon Lilith influence that we've been feeling personally and collectively as a global society. So I'm going to try and make it as concise as possible, but it's going to have some juicy stuff in here. So let's begin with talking about the Taurus full moon tomorrow on Halloween. This is a very rare occasion for two reasons. It's the second full moon in October, so it makes it a blue moon. And then full moon on Halloween is very rare. It only happens every 19 years. So in case anybody's curious about what the full moon represents, why people honor it or celebrate it, and why they do rituals or certain intentions, it's because all the moon cycle is a lunar cycle that actually follows the natural progression of the way things grow on the planet, and it actually spans out into almost everything. It is like a spiral effect. So with the full moon, it's all about the flowering, the harvesting of what has been worked on or been created in our lives. And it usually starts at the seed of the new moon, the intention, and then we do the work, and then at the full moon it starts to blossom, and then we can see, and it is illuminated, what we have actually created. Like if we start to think about what needs fine-tuning, what about it needs more nurturing to make it grow even more. And then, of course, what needs releasing to continue the upward growth in our lives, right? So this goes back to a very ancient lunar calendar that was very connected to the, as I was saying, the natural growth of living things. And because everything is a fractal of everything else, you can find this on every level of creation. You can find it as a mechanism in almost everything, and we'll get into that later. The moon in Taurus actually amplifies this energy even stronger, because Taurus is very much the energy of the earth. So we've got some very strong energy. This is a special moon. So when I felt into this moon, when I was doing the chart and just kind of feeling into it, going within, I was getting the message that this moon is really a lot about feeling the fruits of our labor, counting our blessings, being grateful for how far we have come and what we've accomplished, and most importantly, who we are. Appreciate yourself and appreciate the things that we have in life. Even though it's been a very challenging year, there's always something to be grateful for and look forward to, right? Then on the flip side, it's important that we are also reviewing what has actually been challenging for us this past year, and what has been uprooted in our lives in the areas of finance, relationships, routines, values, or just very much our security, our sense of security. So it's important to get clear on why it had to go. If we can understand why and see that perhaps maybe it was making room for something, it might be a little bit easier to bear, and to have faith that it is because there's a path being paved for all of us, for something better as we evolve and expand. And it's also a good time to see if there's anything else that needs to leave your life that's holding you back in any way. With all that being said, let's get into the second house, everything that's going on in the second house, okay? Because like I was saying, we have the conjunction, we have Uranus in retrograde, we have the full moon, and we have Black Moon Lilith, which I will get more into because she's very interesting. Anyways, these are all in the second house of Taurus. And what these symbolize. So first you got Black Moon Lilith, who is about deep issues. Then you got the moon, which is about hidden things. And then we've got Uranus, which is straight up weirdness. There's good stuff too, but you know. So now you got all three of these placements in the same house of Taurus, a very stable sign. But during this full moon, it's possible that some deep, hidden, weird shit will come to light for you or for the planet in realms of sex, money, proclivities, or just global situations. Some things may be a little bit like, oh, really? Wow. But aside from that, we have an opportunity here because of all this energy. There will be aha moments for a lot of us in regards to outdated issues in our life that we maybe were stuck on or didn't understand or didn't even think about, maybe unconscious to. Well, now we are going to be receiving quite possibly an epiphany about our life situation. For some of us, it may be that we will feel like we're waking up from a dream that had been lifeless or dull for way too long, and having an urge to break free from it or from the old routines. Maybe a real urge to find the meaning of our lives. And also maybe realizing that we're mentally stuck in an area of our life. And what I'm seeing is that it could be poor communication. It's time to reprogram our minds for new ways of connecting with others, but not only with others, but with our own bodies. Do we listen to ourselves? Do we listen to what we have to say, to what's for our best interest? So there's a chance here to improve communication with ourselves and others, where we're going to be feeling very connected to our bodies, and feeling very alive and ripe. Like there's a ripeness to this moon that I'm feeling. And this full moon can wake up I'm getting the sensations in our bodies, our passions and sensuality. If you're already passionate and sensual, this will make you go deeper, and fuller and richer in these sensations and feelings. And what's going to be happening, though, the reason why we're going to be feeling our bodies, whether good or bad, right? It's because our bodies hold a lot of wisdom, and our bodies are very connected, or like they're an extension of the planet of Gaia, right? So it's time to listen to the body. So as we go deeper within and feel in to ourselves, we actually expand bigger in life. And with Uranus in the second house, this will be zinging us with a lot of energy, because Uranus is all about electricity. So we'll be zinging us with more energy. Now, it can feel erratic for some of us and can create restlessness. And with the Black Moon Lilith, she's going to want to rebel against the norm in some way. So you might find yourself impulsively engaging in things that perhaps you wouldn't normally engage in, or just feel or do things that are highly hedonistic that you may or may not regret later, but that energy is there. So if you don't want things to go haywire, or if you don't want to feel that discomfort in your body, the best thing to do is harness that energy, channel that energy, that power moving through your body in focused ways that are very physical, like exercise, like stretching or yoga, dancing, sex. Anything that requires your body to move is going to help distribute this energy. Okay, and that will help with the restlessness, and will get you more clear and grounded. This will balance you out and align you, especially dancing, body, heart, mind, and soul simultaneously. That's why dancing is so amazing. And it's creative. So creative your creativity can flow. And it will be especially magical if you do it under the full moon, for all you witchy folks. All right. But yeah, you'll really be soaking in that moon energy. And so anyways, this movement will help you shed old stagnant energy that you've been holding on to. I've been holding on to all the old energy, all the emotions that we've been definitely feeling for this past year. So get that body moving. And I'm going to take my own advice. It's time to wake up and celebrate life and feel sexy. That is what is being asked of us. And that's really, I mean, that doesn't sound that bad to me, right? Let's feel good, right? So Venus is in Libra, and Venus will be lending a loving hand to, and a higher perspective to, the full moon's need to express itself in new ways. So our life force, going back to the dancing and the movement and all that energy that's going to be flowing through our body, our life force is important for us to know that it is aligned with our timing, our rhythm. So our body is very much a beautiful machine, right? A beautiful, beautiful machine, organic machine. And it provides a job. It keeps us, on this planet, right, as a consciousness, and it is our vehicle. So when our body has symptoms, basically it is calling us back to get into balance. We need a tune-up or some repair, right? And the way the body does that, it shows us through, again, symptoms, or feelings, sensations. But when there's things in our life that are imbalanced or distorted, it creates dis-ease, and that dis-ease is still trying to show us that there's something off that needs to be put back into balance. And sometimes, or a lot of the time, the reason our bodies are out of balance is because we've been messing with timelines, with our timing. We've been disconnected from our life force because we've been disconnected from the lunar cycles and the way all things operate and move through life. So this definitely affects the immune system. So we are being really called to care for our bodies with movement, and a good diet will help cleanse our vessels so that we can be better channels for the higher consciousness to come through us, and we can receive the light codes as we make this quantum leap into a higher consciousness or dimension. So the body has to come with us. This is about embodying our higher frequencies, not about escaping our body. And Gaia wants us to know that, and the universe wants us to know that. So with that being said, again, this is about the ascension, and I hate to use the word ascension because sometimes it sounds really corny, but we are raising our consciousness. We are expanding. The universe is expanding, and if the universe is expanding, that means everything in it has to expand as well. So we are being asked to care for our bodies so that we can connect heaven and earth as channels, bringing in spirit energy onto this physical world and align with the 5D. And this very much has to do with the heart. It was easy to tune into that because Taurus is the sign that is an extension of Gaia and our own bodies and all things of in the physical realm, which is the goddess, and we are definitely dealing with goddess energy here. So especially the dark aspect of the goddess. And so that leads me to talking about Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is a dark goddess, and she entered Taurus October 21st. Black Moon Lilith is in Taurus, which is the second house, at the 1st degree. So she just entered Taurus. She was in Aries before. And so Black Moon Lilith deals with all things deep, dark, and taboo. The things that we hide or repress, or deny or forget in our psyche. It's like that deep, deep vault. And depending on where it is in your chart, it dictates what types of things these are for you. I want to talk about the background of Black Moon Lilith. a little bit. She's not talked about much, and which is actually very telling and very fitting for the kind of energy she is. So not a lot of astrologers get into it, but she is beginning to emerge because we are definitely going through a period in the world of Kali Yuga, where we're seeing a lot of darkness and destruction. So essentially, Gaia, our planet Earth, is a goddess. She is the goddess. She is our mother. She allows us to live here, right? She sustains us. So she is the goddess energy that we tap into when we work with goddesses. So because within her are the many archetypes. She is multidimensional. So she is all the goddesses. And with Lilith, she is the archetypal goddess that is part of Gaia as well. But she is that hidden goddess, right? She's considered a dark goddess because she has domain over things that most people don't like to face. She's the dark side of the moon. So astrology-wise, it's the dark side of the moon, right? So it's the furthest point of the moon's orbit from the Earth. So it's not even a body or like a physical manifestation. It's a point in space, in the moon's orbit, that holds gravity. And essentially it's probably dark matter, but it's still a mystery. So it is a mystery, and I guess that's part of the nature of it, right? But it is very possible that it is for me, and this is the way I see it, that it is a multi-dimensional portal. And it is represented by the dark goddess Lilith from the ancient mythology and theology, right? The ancient scriptures. That's where she originated from, or at least she was documented. So per scripture, Adam's first wife was Lilith. So she was created equally along with Adam. And they were both in the Garden of Eden. And Adam kind of wanted to tell her what to do. And she would not submit. She wanted to do her own thing. She wanted to be an equal partner. She wanted equality, but Adam resisted this. So it's a mystery whether or not she left the garden to do her own thing, or if she was cast out. I think it could have been a mutual thing. But the scripture says that she was cursed by God and named the mother of demons, and that God sent her to hell. And she gave birth to many babies who became demons. Okay, well, this may or may not be true. We don't know. I don't think so. A lot of women don't feel that way, because what we feel is that the patriarchy was just talking a lot of BS to control women, or they're just plain scared of us. But we don't have to get into deep into that right now. But so anyway, she was demonized because she wanted her own power, but Adam wanted someone who's more submissive. So that is why Eve was created from Adam's rib, that making her lesser, right? Oh, these stories. Anyways, this very closely ties into the patriarchal structures, as I was saying, that we've been following for thousands of years, that tells us that, the woman came from man, which makes no sense because we hold babies in our wombs and create life, but it's okay. We're starting to uncover all this and burn all this away as we evolve as human beings. Can you tell how I feel about it? So anyways, we've been following this thousands of years, this patriarchal system, and it really does subtly undermine the intrinsic feminine aspects of life. It does, and I will get into it a little bit. But anyways, it really does discredit the power that we hold as women, as equal partners to man in our own different ways, because it ignores or pretends that we hold no validity in the way life runs, and even goes as far as implying that women are inherently evil if we're not controlled by men, that men must control us to keep us in line. So if we hear this for thousands of years, this is going to create some sort of shame within us, and that breeds low self-worth or self-hatred. Now, I'm just saying that, okay, because I want you to understand the energy of Black Moon Lilith. So traditionally, Lilith represents what is cast away, like the castaway parts of ourselves that have been demonized, or even that part of ourselves that doesn't want to conform to societal structures and forms of the patriarch. And it could even be rebellion against the status quo or the system, or even sometimes what is healthy for us. Okay. Now, I want to be very clear that Black Moon Lilith, we all have a Black Moon Lilith aspect in our natal chart. And this is not just for women. This men and women have this aspect, because I think most of us know by this time that both men and women, each gender carries the male and female energy within us, right? So we all have a mixture of this, the animus and anima. Anyways, so Lilith represents the hidden things, our shadows, feelings that we suppress or hide because we are ashamed of them, or they have been stigmatized by others. And then so there's some things where we just feel like it's not right to feel that way. So they become distorted in our subconscious, and we create stories around them. And, because we don't see them, but they want to be expressed, they create self-sabotaging blocks in the path of our joy and our well-being and success. So how I view it is these repressed parts of ourselves are deeply buried. We disassociate from them, creating fractures in the soul. And so then it's hard for us to feel complete and wholesome, because there's parts of ourselves that we're denying. So how can we be a beautiful faceted diamond when there's parts of us that are shard and disassociated, right? I feel like because of this, there's like an underlying feeling of low self-worth due to shame with most of us in some aspect of our life. So it's no shame in feeling the shame, because we're all going through it as human beings. But it's important to know that these unconscious aspects of ourself drive our choices and our actions without us even knowing it sometimes. And these things fester if we don't face them, and they get worse. And these are what we call unhealthy patterns, toxic patterns, or they can be more undermining and insidious than that. But it is important for us to uncover these and then overcome our fears in order to continue to heal and evolve individually and collectively as a human race. So and if we don't face these issues, they pop up in our environment around us, and that's how we project onto others what is really hidden within ourselves, which is very hard for us to even want to accept that. So our shadow is the ego's facade, pretending to be powerful, but really is trying to compensate for our lack of faith and connection to source energy. And because of this, it blocks our ascension, or because our true power is living our life fully expressed in all our joy and all our spirit. Okay. But there are fear factors here that keep us in this state of repression, and fear is a result, though, ultimately, of feeling separate from source, from God. And so fear is actually a spiritual issue, but we won't get into that right now. So anyways, when we begin to face these things within ourselves that make us feel separate from God or unholy, I know that may be a little bit extreme, but you know what I mean, right? We start to when we face them, we start to accept them, forgive them, and love them, and acclimate them into who we are in a healthy way. We start to heal, and we start to heal and feel better about our life and make healthier choices, because now we're releasing the duality and the separation of our beingness, and we're coming into completeness and alignment. And so shadow work is really important, and Lilith definitely deals with shadow work. And in order to heal, as Carl Jung work is totally based on how important it is to heal the shadow or to face the shadow. And it's sometimes a lifelong process. It's lifelong work. It is cyclical, like a spiral, and we can always go deeper and deeper and deeper into our shadow, step by step, peeling off the layers like an onion. So now back to the astrology placement, okay, during these crazy 2020 times. Okay, so Black Moon Lilith was in Aries before it was in Taurus, from January to October, and this, you could see, was definitely something, tell me if I'm wrong, we could see almost everyone's shadow. Everyone's shadow was exposed and thrust into the public eye. Ourselves, our friends, our family, the people on social media, the world. We saw everybody's shit. And within this time frame, when Lilith was in Aries, we were given a choice to either reconnect with our true nature, our pure essence, Aries energy, and be more present in our lives, or some of us switched onto hyper survival mode, fear. And so there was definitely a division in this, and we saw that happening. But, you know, lots of people also, I feel, found their purpose or did a lot of healing, or at least took a new direction in their life. And so I have seen good things come out of 2020. I've had a lot of good things happen as well as some other not so great things, right? But, you know, a lot of people had this opportunity, you know, and we saw it, we felt it, that we had an opportunity to work through anger, rage, injustice. So there was a lot of activism, division, you know, fighting for something, a cause that we believed in, and then sometimes at the lower extreme, the lower vibration of division and finger pointing for some. Now with Black Moon Lilith in Taurus, it's going to be there till July. And what I'm feeling is a lot of people are going to be tired of fighting. It's very probable that many of us will turn to some sort of distractions that make us feel good, so we don't have to think about what's bothering us, like sex or substance abuse or substance use, you know, and material things, to provide us with a sense of security. Because I think what's happening now, people are starting to have a very more visceral fear of scarcity, whether that's being fed to us from the media or because 2020 has been somewhat desolate for a lot of people's livelihoods and well-beings. So now we may feel like we need to turn to other things to make us feel okay. And this may be amplified due to the holidays. But we have a choice on how we want to spend our holidays. We could be sharing our warmth and nurturing our relationships and enjoying simple pleasures, being present. And instead of spending copious amounts of money on presents, we can actually be present with the people that we love and doing enjoyable activities or connecting. But anyways, you know, we have a choice to have either a more meaningful holiday, or we can overspend and overcompensate with material things to make ourselves feel better. To put it bluntly, we all do it, right? Sometimes. And then some of us may just completely rebel against celebrating the holidays. That would be very Lilith. So during this time with Lilith and Taurus, the temptation is to revert back to old toxic patterns and habits that just because we don't want to feel our feelings. But we are encouraged, these energies are encouraging us to lean into this discomfort and not fill the void with things. Just let it be empty. Be still. Go within your body. Listen to your body. Listen to your body's wisdom. What is it telling you? Black Moon Lilith will tempt us to be naughty, and that can be fun sometimes, definitely. But, you know, make sure that it's not overboard and it's not because we're hiding from something, right? Because there's a temptation to disassociate from reality, especially with substances. And it may be fun for a while, but our problems will still be there in the morning and perhaps do worse due to neglect. Now, with that being said, Black Moon Lilith in Taurus um, is a chance to see what has been bothering us in the physical world, in regards to what we're building and how we're living and what makes us feel secure. Since Taurus is closely linked to the earth, Lilith is like a hoe in the garden, like a wrecking ball breaking up the earth for deep excavation. And Uranus is helping with that. So ask yourself, what do you do when you work on planting something in the garden? What needs to happen? You need to hoe it first, right? Break up the soil, use a compost, and what are your choices to fertilize your growth? What are you going to do? If we allow ourselves to tap into our bodies, into the earth, connect with nature, go out into the wilderness when we can, or be in our backyard, the natural world, connecting into the natural world in some way, enjoying it, we will be able to tap into the goddess energy. And we will actually, this is a great time to start receiving messages from Gaia's soul. Yes, we can all do that. She wants to transmit to us. She wants to speak to us. She wants to communicate with us. Not only for our healing, but for hers. We are a part of her. And we already know what the environment is like right now and how we need to start helping it recover. But anyways, you know, healing is needed on all levels, and this lies in the moon energies, and deeper still into the hidden side of the moon energies in Lilith within all of us, where we can tap into our own natural cycles, our life force, our creativity, our sexuality, our inner knowing, so as to heal and come into alignment with what is trying to be birthed now, this new earth, this new paradigm, this new shift, this higher consciousness that we're all going to be experiencing in some form or fashion. But first, the old must die. All the stuff that's been holding us back, collectively and individually, it needs to be just done. It needs to die, be transformed, and ascend to a higher state of consciousness. But it starts deep in the roots of our body, our psyche, our soul. I started this video before the sun came up, and now it's getting lighter. I think I lost the spooky effect. Anyways, I'm almost done. I just want to go into, I did tap in and channel a message from Gaia. And so I'm just going to read it off. Because it's so much easier. So this came from Gaia. I'm just a messenger. Take it as you will. Okay, so I tapped in my meditation, and this is what I heard. This is an important time to go inward during the last few months of this year, 2020. This is a time of introspection and stillness. This is a time to get raw as the collective works through trauma and grief. Anxiety can sometimes stem from trying to escape from the rawness of what is, but this is life. The holiday season tends to throw off the natural biological timing. The capitalistic structures in place encourage us to focus outward instead of inward. There is a connection with depression and suicide during these times, as people are pressured to be with family and to be spending copious amounts of money to prove their love and value. Being forced to be overly happy and overextend ourselves during dark months goes against the natural grain and can cause resistance in the body, only to amplify the feeling of sadness within. This is the paradox. It is important to remember that communities make us feel safe. But equally important, it is to stay in balance by taking time alone. This allows us to stand more fully in power. Don't overextend yourself and create more stress. This is a time to heal the body, to heal the soul. The trap of community is that you can get stuck in a comfort level that allows others to shape your identity, and then you are not as impactful. But when you take the time to be alone and understand yourself, you can return with more purpose and strength for all. In ancient cultures, initiations of introspection and aloneness were normal parts of the cycle. So I would like to add to that I feel like holidays are a challenge because they are built into our culture, but so we're kind of we feel forced or pressured to be a part of them. But they do push us out of our biological alignment in the way that we celebrate it. There's nothing wrong with celebrating holidays, but it's in the way that we celebrate it, in the way we push as a consumer. So it's important to be more mindful of how we want to spend this time with people that we love or by ourselves, so that we are a full cup when we do spend time with the people that we love. So in regards to cycles, I want to say that when we begin to learn that everything in life is a cycle in every way, shape, or form, on every level of life and existence, and we learn how to work with these cycles, these ebbs and flows of life, we can rest more assured that the inevitable progression of unfolding events will turn out the way they need to, and we won't fixate so much on the details and just have more faith, knowing that what goes up must come down, what goes down must come up, and then we can relax a little bit more. And I feel like the holidays should be fun, and maybe for me, I'm going to keep it low key and stress less, because I don't need to put myself through this stress trying to prove my love to others. You know, we have all year to prove our love to others. You don't have to make it a holiday for that. So, and especially after all we've been through this year, we deserve some self-care, and this is our downtime in the cycle that we're in right now. This is the dark cycle right now. This is a time to rest. We deserve this self-care. And so part of the self-care is going in and checking in with ourselves, make sure we are okay, especially because we had such a very challenging year. So I don't know, it's just okay. You know, don't forget to love yourself this holiday season. I'm going to try to remember that too. I'm not trying to get preachy. This is what was coming through. So I was receiving this information. I just want to share it. If it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. But I want to share it in case it does. So before I end this video, I want to leave you with the actual natural cycle progression is, because some of you may be like, well, what is this natural cycle? And it's very simple. Now keep in mind, this is a fractal pattern, so this works with everything in nature, in the natural world, and that includes us, body, mind, heart, soul, life stages. So anyways, maybe this will make us feel more hopeful when we know that eventually hard times will pass. Cycle sequence. Okay, we've got birth, we've got form, we've got life, right? We've got birth, form, death, formlessness, and this is the transformative, the transformation time, right? The dissolving and the morphing. And then after that, we've got rebirth. We must know that everything follows this pattern in spiral form. So if you found any of this interesting, if you found Black Moon Lilith interesting, if you find shadow work interesting and you would like to delve a little bit deeper, I would love to invite you to the Black Moon Rising class that I am teaching with my partner Chrissy Sopurkh. We're going to touch on what's going on in the world energetically and socially, to bring more understanding from a bigger picture perspective, a little bit more spiritual perspective. And we will also be going through some astrology of the times and how it pertains to us women. Beyond that, we will also guide everyone through really cool and creative self-discovery exercises to see ourselves better in the things that have been challenging us in our lives. And these exercises will break through blockages in order to access our creative goddess power. So the cool thing is this is an interactive class / a women's circle where we're holding space to talk about things and understand them on a deeper level and to be understood. And what else? It has a spiritual element, but we have very practical ways to work through things that we're having trouble with. And us women, we are strong, but I've come to realize throughout these years that it's so important to connect as women and be there for each other and support. So I would love for you to join the class if you want. If it resonates, you are so welcome to join. You can find the link in the caption below. Click on there, or you can find it in my bio, mysticstarseed.com. And then you can purchase your entry there, and we will send you the Zoom link and all the information that you need, and it will be on Zoom October 30th. And so we hope you can make it. It would be great. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this video, and I hope it was insightful. If you have any questions, just comment below, and I wish you much love and blessings.